Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, November 25th, a couple days before Thanksgiving. Uh, and so we're continuing to work on the React Native Fitness Tracker app to get it into like a pretty okay state to give to my dad, some other guys that were kind of interested in using it, some of my friends, including myself. I would be my own friend. Um, so I've got 2 days to really kind of work on this thing. 2 mornings, plus maybe Tuesday. Tuesday might be a all day stream if I can spare the time off work. We'll have to see. Um, but yeah, lots of stuff to do. I've been kind of refactoring some things to not be so janky and all in kind of just one file in here. As you may be familiar, our entire app was in this one file in our index TSX. And things were getting a little unwieldy, mostly with the routing. Honestly, the having to completely like reload the app to force a refresh on my workout, it's kind of unforgivable, and I wanted to figure out how to do that correctly. Figure out how to use some of these actual features of React itself that are supposed to take care of this stuff for you. So using more effect and hook stuff, context from React, and then using Expo Router correctly, and some other stuff to structure this a little better, a little nicer. Currently, the thing I'm doing is restructuring how I go into and access the database, because right now there's some problems with getting into it. Basically, number one, it's persistent in a weird way that I can't. I don't have like a good way of like clearing it out for debug, and just kind of interacting with it in isolation. Like I said, everything's kind of like baked together here. We have the loading call here is just in the actual single screen of the single TypeScript file here, whereas probably I should be hooking into it through and loading asynchronously, while in a splash screen or whatever. So I've been going through and trying to do some of this stuff to get it in a little bit easier to work with state. And also so I don't have random SQL stuff like all over the place in this file that it's getting a little confusing. Technically, this is there are like very little things I'm gaining in terms of real functionality with this refactor. Unfortunate. But I think using some of these things more correctly, like figuring out React context, it's mostly setting up like a context hook, and learning how to do some of the asynchronous stuff in JavaScript a little bit tighter, is what I'm looking for here. And I think and again we'll get some of the good functionality from actually using Expo Router to be able to back out of a workout or the results screen, so you don't have to blow away everything to go for testing at least, and then for actually submitting a workout. So we will jump right into it. I've got a document I found online about someone else who's using Expo SQLite, which is the Expo library for this, and setting that up as a context that's available for the entire app to hook into. So trying to go off of that, running into some issues with type safety, unfortunately, where this is like a million different promises here. There are actual in this guy's code, his database schema is obviously different from mine, and at some point I'd like to actually try to figure out what that is. I asked my friend Mr. ChatGPT for some ideas of like what tables I should build out, because already starting to see, excuse me, not a good idea to just store everything in the one lifts table. That's quickly becoming apparent. So something for users. This is probably not needed locally. We don't need to store that. That would be if we are uploading our local storage, syncing that to some cloud thing, which probably will not happen in the next 2 days. Yeah, probably need to do this. Might need to create a table in. I probably don't even need to do that either. I currently have a table set up. I might have just blown it away. Yeah, it's in here. But yeah, I have a table set up basically to just to create IDs for each lift that is currently in my system that I'm tracking, along with display names and stuff to print out onto label, whatever. So I've got that here. I don't think that needs to be a local table as well. That would probably be it's probably fine just at like in the JavaScript here to do lookup, because all I'm using it for right now is looking up like the name to like print out something as. So I don't really I don't really care right now. But I do have to figure out and store locally some information about like a workouts table, and then possibly like another tables of within of the sets within a workout. I'd prefer not to do that, because that seems expensive for no reason to create a bunch of like set tables for individual things. I don't know. The real there's not really a problem, I guess, then, because I don't really need like any user specific info stored in the local database. The things that are useful but would be duplicate, right? Is basically the hierarchy is you have like a whole workout of many lifts. The workout has a unique workout ID that you can go back to. Let's see. You have like multiple sets, and a set should only store information about one lift, I think. One exercise, because there are cases where like maybe I don't have all of my exercises are doing the same number of sets, or I'm only doing one exercise. So I don't want to add a bunch of horizontal entries to store like every possible workout for every set. That's ridiculous. But like the workout ID and the timestamp that it's attached to, that sounds like something that can be pulled out and does not need to be duplicated. I'm no database expert, unfortunately, at creating like good good schemas. I'm sort of just guessing here at what would make sense, but probably actually we're fine. I've talked myself out of it. We're fine for now to store all this info in one table still, I bet. It is possible in the future, or if like performance is like really bad for whatever reason, that some of this stuff needs to get migrated over, or split off in whichever way. But I don't think we need to do that right now. It's kind of over engineering. Again, my app with 0 users. So we'll stick with the schema we have. Okay. All that said, it's tea time. It's always tea time around here. So we've got our English breakfast tea. It's still warm, thankfully, after my 10 minutes of talking. Um, so we will have a sip of this bad boy and just jump right into it. So everybody, happy programming. Okie doke. So, the thing we're going to have to start off with, unfortunately, is is dealing with the type safety of this document here. So we're this is coming from this section up here, which is the actual the one file that handles all of like the database queries and has the handle to the database itself. Now, I don't know if this is actually fully right. This is 5-year-old code now, because it almost looks like there should be some state that I'm using to hold that database handle. But I don't see like this is like a little strange to me, and I don't quite know what that actually does. Like, but they're not using state in the actual, the actual doc code itself. So it can't be. It's probably fine. It's probably okay. But we should look at like what the open database method actually is returning here. So that actually returns a whole SQLite database object. Now, one thing I'm still not quite clear on in, I guess, both React and JavaScript is how state really works. Because it would be really silly if every frame, this. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a text here. Important text. Okay. It would be really silly if, if like every frame or whatever, like we keep on trying to reopen the database here. That doesn't make any damn sense to me at all. But I think because I think that's not happening. If we look through, like this is unfortunately doing this makes things like exponentially more complicated, right? This is a lot of complication, and I might be talking myself out of doing it, too. But I think it has to happen, because I don't want to be passing around. I don't know where to open up the DB now that I'm splitting up my app into multiple different screens right now, because everything is currently in like the one screen space. I don't know. In the scope of that screen file that is opening up the DB handle for everything. But now that we have different screens that are being pushed onto the Expo router stack, that is different. And so we do need some way of passing this thing around. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a context. I think that's probably just like, I think that makes sense though for it to be a context hook. Okay, but here we go. So before we continue, like, we already know we're gonna have to do a couple things. We're gonna have to add type safety to this whole thing, unless I just turn this into a JavaScript file, which I have considered. But we should just read through what this guy's doing, see what's cooking, and then see if it actually does make sense to pull this all out. So what is he doing? He's opening. He has a method opening database. And he's like or writing all of his database transactions in this one file that has like all of the different squeal scripts that you would need. So I think this does make sense. And we don't need too many things here. Obviously we have to change it to our schema, and actually go rewrite these inserts to exercise based things, but that's probably fine. And then exporting it as a thing. I like this. I didn't know that this syntax existed before now, but that is pretty good. Makes sense to me. So then we need to actually create a hook. Let's see here. So what does this do? So it has its own state for if loading is done. Use effect function. So okay, so when this component gets loaded, which I'm assuming is going to happen on like init of everything, of the whole app. Oh, interesting. Okay, so he's got context split off. Okay, but so there, and this effect on component loading, I think, is this part of the props right here, where it's just like the empty brackets. I think that's what that means. Okay, but that makes sense that this hook has like its own, is storing that, and it's doing all the things you need to like create the table and probably load into that too. Well, so it calls into drop database tables async. So yeah, I don't know. Like I don't exactly know how this line of code gets called. I'm not quite clear on that. In like how JavaScript works. Yeah, I don't know. Like, do they? Because these are all asyncs, right? And they're calling to actually use this. So like when you try to use DB, will that force it to run this? That's what I'm understanding here. Let's ask Mr. Copilot here. Okay, blah blah blah. Okay, yes, that's the code I wrote. Not that someone else wrote. When is DB actually initialized here? If I call, if I do this. Load data async, use effect hook. So when the component that calls use database mounts, the use effect hook is triggered. Load, so okay. So yeah, I guess I'm still unclear what like a component is. A component is just like any like thing you're exporting, right? Is that a React concept, or is that a JavaScript thing? It looks like a React concept. To return HTML, okay. Okay. Okay, so I think React Native lets us get like circumvent all the DOM stuff, because that I don't really understand at all how that works. Excuse me. Okay, so well, so actually in here, I guess the whole thing is everything is this database component. Well, I'm not even including React in this. Yeah, I don't really know how this works. Like if you were to just run this thing fresh here, well, I think this syntax might be like they might have changed it too, which is a little disturbing. But like if you're returning it this promise here, I don't know. I don't really understand what is going on. Unfortunately, that is actually causing this code to work. I get what it does, but I don't understand enough about this, and that's a little frustrating. But I think hopefully it looks like that should just work. Hopefully. Okay. So. Okay. Sure. Yeah, so blah, that does all that stuff. And then from in the app entry point, there's a like Expo splash screen component that we can use, and we just do some of this stuff. Okay, so I don't know how to I don't quite understand how to do that right now, because I think Expo router yeah, he's using like React navigation. I think Expo router is forcing some like different behavior into what's going on here, so we might have to look at that. Also, I think I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom. I know it's been not that long, but I've over teed myself this morning. So how does this actually work here? Yeah, I think the index TSX page is special because that maps to root, to the root of like the link file system here. So that's like where things would come in from. But again, I don't know how to Expo router with context. How to yeah, that's what I'm okay. Top level. Okay, so it in the layout we do that. Okay, that's fine. All right, so we can add that now. That seems like pretty easy code to shove in there. Okay, yeah, because right now I'm just doing that. Whoopsies. Alright, where does app provider come from? From my provider. I'm gonna do it. I believe that's what it's called. Guess not. Use database. Okie doke. Is that, am I doing something stupid here? Use, yeah, I think I did not do this correctly. Because that's not the thing. Oh, am I missing a, I'm missing a step here. Yeah, okay. I need to actually create the context provider here. Okay, yeah, we'll do that, and send that up to the layout, and then go back, because it's gonna just take, it's gonna be a lot of grunt work to type save that, all those SQL promises. I think it's gonna be a pain in the ass. So I'll be right back. It's P&T time. Alrighty. Hopefully that fan is quite loud. Hopefully that is not fucking with my audio today. Oh, alrighty. So, I think, let's see here. So I think this hook is fine, right? Yeah, I don't think nothing is even complaining about this. We do need to change that to actually set up our, fuck. All right, we'll start from down here. We've got to do some things to actually, we just got to change some function names for now to make the interface usable for us. You know what I'm saying. you know what I'm saying. Okay, so let's try. This is also like a problem. I have this like ID key that is like kind of useless. It just takes up space in here, but it's my primary key. I don't know if I can change that later. Can I? Okay. Well, I'm not using it for anything. Is the thing, right? So one thing I could do, I mean, is like how bad would it be to make like some of my fields in the database arrays for like whatever exercises are actually part of a set. Um, I don't know. Okay, I let's not overthink that. This is fine. All I need to know is I can change it later. That's all I give a shit about. Okay, so let's just change some interface names here. So we're gonna need some functions. We'll need that one. We'll need that one. Goes at the top. Set up. Lifts. Get worked out. Insert set. Alright, these are probably the queries I'm going to need. We will ignore all of the effed up stuff going on in this function for now, or in this file for now. Okay, so then back here, set up. Okay, so that's good. And now we actually need somewhere, we need to be using, no, we don't want that. We need to use set up the context provider. Oh, so we, should I, am I like, This is a different component. I'm still not quite sure what component is, to be honest. We'll figure it out. Hi, dear. Okay. So, I guess we need to make this a separate thing. Okay. So why? Oh, okay, interesting. Why is this separate? Because this is just in a. This is not even in. This is an effect. So this is actually a component. This is actually a React component. This is not. This is, even though they're importing React for some reason here, that like it's not being used. It's not getting used anywhere. So as far as I'm concerned, this is like some other fucking thing. Okay. So, and this is not even using that loading state at all. What is this context actually providing? Users? Oh, it's actually saying that. No, I want the actual or do I guess I don't want the, I don't need the database hook directly now, because that is all getting, excuse me, that's all getting abstracted away to into the database thing, right? Hold up. Getting a message here. Ooh, might have to jump off for a call. Yeah, so I guess I do not need the DB hook directly, or not the DB, the DB handle directly. That's interesting. I will have to ponder that. Sorry, there's been relatively little coding in this coding stream. I woke up like at 3:30 in the morning because I was very excited to actually not work on this. I got into the Jai programming language closed beta, and I literally had a dream. This is ridiculous. I had a dream where I was hanging out with Jonathan Blow, and we were programming stuff. it's that crazy. I was like very excited for that, but I cannot in good conscience switch from this project again before finishing it off. So that's why, you know, been at it for a while, did a lot of stuff. Yeah, but so I'm like a little. You're actually seeing me at the tail end of my morning coding this morning. Funnily enough. Okay. So I guess what actually does need to be provided in the context. So they're exposing, like the actual users, some function, I guess they're methods. I don't know. Some function to actually insert a user. We've abstracted away the actual database handle from the app itself. This context is not even using our hook, because I think that the I think this is only like our init basically. Okay, I see. Yeah, so that makes sense. This is like the use effect here, right? And then this is the actual context to provide it. So I think we can combine these two things. They don't need to be separate components. I'm assuming. Because like what is this guy doing here? So basically, just using these methods, they're I guess this component, the use database is a component that is like when it gets loaded, triggers the use effect of this component coming in, right? And then basically we're looping on querying the state out of that thing to get rid of the splash screen or not. Okay, that makes sense, right? And then we're wrapping all of the navigation in the context provider. So then, yeah, we should be able to get users, use context. Okay. So that all sort of makes sense to me. So now, all right. but again, I think I could combine these two things, context and this hook, into one thing. I don't quite understand what the difference between them is, or why you would want to. I'll keep that. Right. Why you would want to separate them? I was looking here in the doc for everything. It looks like, but for context, I think use context is a hook, from what I understand here. If we like go back up to this. Oh, these are DOM hooks. Oh, what was I looking at? A React DOM. Oh, okay. Yeah, so, yeah, context is a hook. And a hook is just, well, okay, all right. So, from your components. Okay, but still, I'm not quite sure what a component actually is. Maybe we should look at that. Let's see here. I'm glad we're getting some more of the. We're drilling down into actual React itself, which is helpful. I don't know like long term how much of any of this stuff I'm using, but I think it's very interesting to understand like this whole like couple layers of stuff here of React and React Native, then Expo. That has been pretty interesting. But like obviously we're not learning anything about DOM through any of this stuff. Okay, so that didn't help at all. Components are components. So our JSX, no, components are a React thing. They are not a JSX specific thing. Maybe. Defining a component. Okay. Define the function. Add markup. Using a component. Yes. Okay, but again, I'm trying to. Oh, nesting. I mean, I don't quite. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Root component is defined in pages/index.js. Okay. Oh Lord, that is a lot of things. Now, is the React website using React? Of course, obviously. Now a couple things. Again, I'm not quite sure how React components and when they actually get initialized, and when they're initialized, what happens. I don't understand what is in the scope of a component. It seems like it's a function. So anything I define as a function is a component, right? So does that mean that like DB actually is a component as well, that DB handle? It's not exported. Okay, well. So, okay, and so database is a React component, right? I'm exporting that. It does not include the DB, but it seems somehow that happens. Somehow this handle actually is getting opened up by someone, presumably when I run one of these functions. And so where, like, in memory, what memory is this stuff all live in? I have no idea. When does like the inits for these things happen? Because this is a component, and I am exposing methods into it, right? So those are all like function pointers, you know, allegedly. I would in my C brain, but again, what is this? How does that get run? And that really bothers me. I do not know. Okay. Anyway. I think we can go back in. Oh, not in there. Back in here, and I think we can combine the hook and the context setup into one thing. So there's no reason to split it up. I don't think. So we will do that. All right. Actually, let's keep that comment around. There's no one gonna remember that shit. Okay. So we have, we're defining two things. This use database component, which just, you know, calls in and like creates our table for us and drops the current one. All right. And it has some state that we can use in like the actual, like, you know, index or whatever, or I guess our layout screen to which is our root component, to block until like the database handle is gotten and the database itself is set up. Like, okay, all makes sense to me. All right, we're gonna create context. Lifts context. Okay, I think I have to create a interface for that. Const. How do I declare my props? Oh, I don't know if I have this code somewhere still. Let's see. Here? Oh, there we go. Okay. So you'll use that. Type lift props. What will we put in here? That. So somehow, what do we actually need? Will we still be storing the? I think we still need to store our lifts in our, like, the current value of whatever's like in our buttons. on the screen it's on, right? So we will need to pass in the lift ID and numReps. I think. I guess children. Maybe. No, I guess not. This may be not the way to use context, but we will see. Passing props to a component. So how? All right, the type safe version. Okay, well, why do I have to like click in and out of this thing to go figure out how to do it? Use context. So I don't understand this children props thing. I don't get what that is. Let's ask. Children props. All right. So in React, children prop special one lets you pass components or elements as children to other components. Okay. Code structure. Parent component uses the children prop to render nested components. Okay. Is there a way to make that type safe? I'm assuming the answer is no. React node. Okay. And I think it's like a special name is like how it works. So now, what is a React node? Beats me. Okay. Okay. No. Shit. Only refers to a type is being used as a value here. Is that how you do that? No. Okay, well this is not. Is this even right? I don't know. I'm getting lost here. Because like what are we trying to do? Is the question, right? I'm not quite sure. Lifts context provider user's context. Fresh users. Get workout. I can change the names of things, you know. I'm good at that. Call me change name Andy. Set. Oh, okay. Lift state initial user. Excuse me. Cannot redeclare. Oh, do I have to change the name of this? Use this value here. How? Oh, overseas. This context. Is that not how you declare what type the thing is? I'm not sure. Oh, hold up. Alright, I'm getting my call. I will have to see you guys all later. Thank you for joining me on my messy stream this morning. We'll see. Tomorrow might be the big one. Maybe. Goodbye for now.